This rich kid was unbelievably arrogant. He picked up a rock off the ground and hurled it with all his strength. Unluckily, it struck the young boy square on the head. Blood immediately streamed down his cheeks. Enraged, the boy charged straight at the rich kid, grabbed him and shoved him hard, and both tumbled into the sea together. The two boys were rushed to the hospital. The little boy was covered head to toe in blood, lying unconscious in a hospital bed with his life hanging in the balance, yet only a medical intern was attending to him. Meanwhile, the spoiled rich boy had only suffered a minor fright, but a crowd of top specialists surrounded his bed. The boy's mother, terrified for her son's life, begged the specialists to check on her child too, only to be screamed at and insulted by the wealthy matriarch. The snobbish specialists echoed her cruel words, claiming the hospital would send another doctor over soon. With that, the whole group turned and left. The helpless mother suddenly recalled the words spoken by the elderly Chaebol matriarch long ago. It turned out, this young boy was the grandson of South Korea's largest Chaebol family. She spun around to stare at her son, still unconscious in the hospital bed, and shouted his true identity for everyone to hear. That loud declaration meant dragging the boy into the cutthroat infighting of the Chaebol clan for the rest of his life. 20 years flew by in the blink of an eye. The grown-up Jack knelt before his mother's memorial portrait, lost in flashbacks of that fateful day. Ever since that terrible incident at the hospital years ago, his mother's greatest wish had been to earn the old matriarch's approval, to be recognized as a legitimate daughter-in-law, not merely the daughter of a household servant. She'd refused to let Jack face discrimination because of his humble background ever again, but a sudden accident took her life away. Jack honored his mother's final wish, and had now become a top surgeon at the Chaebol-owned hospital. When competing against David, his oldest cousin from his uncle's side, Jack never fell behind for a single second. One day, Jack had just finished a grueling surgery. The patient's injuries were far too severe, and they couldn't be saved no matter how hard he tried. Overwhelmed by helplessness, Jack was overcome with frustration. Right then, his best friend showed up, with a takeout lunchbox for him. The two sat on a hospital bench eating and chatting. After his friend comforted him, Jack's mood lightened significantly. He walked his buddy out, but when he returned to the bench, he caught a patient sneaking bites from his untouched lunchbox. He asked her what she thought she was doing. The girl jumped in shock from being caught, and choked on the food instantly. She quickly sipped the water Jack handed her, explaining she thought the meal had been thrown away, and couldn't stand to let good food go to waste. Jack stared at the woman in front of him, and sighed, telling her he'd only stepped outside to see his friend off. He hadn't finished eating yet. The girl's face burned with embarrassment upon hearing this. Jack asked if she wanted to keep eating. She shook her head quickly to decline. Jack brushed it off without another thought, and gathered up his lunchbox, but the woman accidentally glanced at the name tag pinned to his scrubs, and saw the name Jack printed clearly across it. The name felt strangely familiar to her, and she blurted it out without thinking. Jack asked if she knew him, yet her memory slipped away all at once. It turned out she suffered from intermittent amnesia. Jack eyed the confused woman, ready to drop the awkward conversation entirely. He never imagined this was the very little girl he'd once planned to make chocolate truffles for 20 years prior.